What is up, y'all? It's your girl Nick Robinson back again with the Yara Effect, and we have a lot to get into today as we discuss the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This episode is called Chapter 1 Reset. This is where they leave for their trip to Grenada, and let's just see what's going on. So, we first see where Shamea is gathering things to donate to the people of Grenada. They had some sort of storm or natural disaster, and they are looking to help those people there. So it was a cute scene with her daughter Shia, and she was explaining to Shia that you always have to pay it forward and you have to help people. And she was telling Shia that even though you have things that you may not want to give up, it's always a good cause to help others in need. I love the fact that she is teaching her daughter that we are super blessed and other people are not, so let's make sure that we bless others. And she said something to the effect of she didn't want her daughter to be spoiled. So good parenting. Shout out to Shamea. It's just one of the other reasons why I absolutely love her, because even though she has money and all of that, she still works. She still teaches her daughters the value of, a dollar and being kind and nice. And it just shows that she's a good person. They say when you get money, it shows who you really are. It amplifies who you really are. And so here we are. I mean, we see a great example of somebody that's coming into a different lifestyle than they grew up in and not morphing into something and somebody that nobody can recognize any longer. So shout out to her for that. We see where Kelli shows up with like her whole Cadillac Escalade trunk full of waters, and stuff like that. So that was great. The other ladies are sending things over. Brit shows up, and Brit, she brought one little box, and it had like two of like I think maybe the 8 roll tissues and like another small thing of tissue. And Shamea was looking like, okay, is this everything? And she was like, well, I have somebody else bringing things over. And she was like, well, hopefully he can get here in time, because the people that's coming to get the stuff, they're going to be here in like a couple of hours. So the verdict is out as to whether or not any other items were donated by Brit. At this point, I feel like there's a little bit of a narrative out there that's saying she may not have the money that she is professing to have, or something to that effect, because I mean, not for nothing, donating anything is good. I mean, like, let's not act like it's not a good thing to donate something. But I think being that you are at the stature that you are, you're a Real Housewife, seems like you would donate more. Hopefully the guy who was bringing more things could, get there in time so that the people of Grenada can really get, something from her as well. So, Shamea, Brit, and Kelli start talking about the event, the bare naked event that happened. They was just reminiscing on that and how Drew and Shamea kind of got into it at that event and everything like that. As we move forward, they were also talking about Shamea and Porsha and how they're working out as a friendship. And Shamea was like, I mean, we had a conversation, we're good. I think at this point, Shamea is really trying to just keep them out of her friendship, because at this point, it seems that the interference from the other girls has also been an issue with the dynamic of them. So I can see her like trying to be protective of their friendship. Okay, moving forward. Drew and Porsha finally sit down. They're at this little cute place where they serve these cute little cups of tea. Okay, so they ordered their tea, and honey, they wasn't in there no time before it just went left. Porsha started talking about the fact that, Drew was dating somebody named Black, and she was like, well, if you dating Black, then I'm pretty sure that, there's nothing going on between you and Dennis, because the implication was that Drew was trying to get with Dennis on behalf of not having to pay for whatever work he did in the studio with her. That's the lie. Allegedly, that's what Dennis told Porsha. And Porsha was like, well, what's going on, basically? And she was like, but then again, if you dating Black, then, whatever. And so Drew was like, well, why would you say I'm dating somebody that's not true? I'm in the middle of divorce right now, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, they blurred out his name, but, they were saying that Porsha... Drew was saying that Porsha was, so-called dating an Atlanta rapper, and Porsha was like, girl, no, she didn't give that no energy or whatever. So Needless to say, Portia got up and left. Honey, didn't even have a sip of tea before she left. Later on in the episode, Drew tells one of the ladies, we was only there like 15 minutes. Um, I can see Portia trying to like maintain her demeanor, try not to get too rowdy by walking away from situations. In this situation, she did get up from the table and she just drove off. She was like, "I'm not staying here for this." So, yeah, here we are. So, as she was leaving, Drew throws the shot, talking about, "Well, I see why Simon left, and I see why Shamea on the way out the door." I mean, I feel like that was unnecessary, but whatever. Because I mean, honestly, no one really knows what happened between Simon and Portia. Let Portia tell it. She made the decision to leave that marriage. So I don't know. Drew just be saying stuff. All right. So the ladies are packing for Grenada, and Kelli makes arrangements for the first day of school. So basically, this trip happened late July, early August, because I know here in Atlanta the kids go back to school like August 1st, around that time frame. Between August 1st and like August 5th is when kids go back to school in Atlanta. So this trip happened late July, early August, because she was making arrangements for the first day of school for the kids to be taken because she'd still be out of town. In the meantime, Lamont is her, I guess, assistant, friend, or whatever that is going to be taking the kids to school. He goes on to say that he reached out to her ex-husband in an attempt to try to talk to him and be like, "Yo, y'all still have kids. Let's not be weird with it. You still have to co-parent." And everything he said to her ex, he was like, "No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that." And, Kelli was just like, wow, for him to still be in that space where he isn't looking to co-parent, he isn't looking to call any type of truce or anything. It's just crazy, and it's just sad because kids need their dad. I mean, just because your marriage didn't work out doesn't mean you can't try to work together for the kids' sakes. And you have young girls. I think the twins are like 8. And then you have her oldest daughter, Chloe, who he's been in her life since she was like really little, and basically is the only dad that she knows, I think. So it's just really sad. We got to try to do better, y'all, with ending a relationship with the other parent, but not with the child. I hope they can get that together sooner than later. Okay. So anyway, Phaedra and Angela meet for the first time, right? Angela in her confessional was saying she'll try to get to know Phaedra without letting what she's heard about her interfere in her mind and her opinion of her. Now, Miss Phaedra, honey, we all know she's good for a shady moment, and she did have one when she was talking about Angela. She said she is the oldest looking young person she's ever seen, and she hopes that her personality is more youthful than her face. Y'all, I was like, now did she deserve that? Like, Phaedra just came out the gate with the shade. I mean, but that's who we know her to be. That's what she does. So, I mean, in her face, she was cordial and stuff like that. Phaedra knows how to put on. But how do you think it's going to go when Angela watches his back? Like, even if you guys had made some segue into moving towards a good friendship, how do you think that's going to make Angela feel? Obviously, she's insecure about her face because we see she's had the surgery or whatnot. So, I don't know. I'm just going to leave that right there. But y'all already know how Miss Faye do it. Okay, so, all the ladies are heading up on the plane to get ready to go. Drew is late. I mean, that seems to be a recurring thing with Drew. She seems to be late a lot to things. And I remember on the episode of, after the episode, the after show, they were saying that Drew shows up like mad late. When I say late, I mean 2-3 hours late. So I'm surprised she even caught the plane at this point if she's showing up that late. Because, honey, Hartsford National Airport in Atlanta, I always get there at least 2.5 hours before I have to fly out because it takes that long to get through TSA and get to your gate because they literally have a train in the airport to get you to where you need to go because it's that far. So I'm not a fan of rushing trying to get to the airport. I don't know how people do it, but anyway, Drew was late. She did catch the plane. Um, they get to Grenada and Shamea's bag is left. I would have been like freaking out, but she was smart. She had about 3 outfits in her carry-on. But girl, I just would have been like so upset. And throughout the course of the episode, we see where they said that her luggage would come the next day, and then they also said, "Well, we don't know where it's at." And it's like, oh Lord. So at some point, maybe she's gonna have to buy some more clothes because all she has are clothes. She doesn't even have any underclothes. I don't know what toiletries she had in that carry-on, but at least she had something. Cause Lord have mercy. Okay, that's like one of my biggest fears, to get off the plane and my luggage is nowhere to be found. Like, ugh, that's so annoying. But anyway, um, so when they get ready to depart the airport, they get in two separate cars, and we have Phaedra, Drew, Angela, and Cynthia are together. And at that point, Drew is going over her beef with Shamea and making a comment about her lying in her song. So Shamea was saying that in one of Drew's songs, she said she can speak 5 different languages, and she can't. And Drew was saying that I wasn't talking about like actual languages. You know what I'm saying? So she felt like Shamea was wrong for calling her a lie at that point for that, line of her song. So is that enough for you to keep calling that girl a lapdog and acting like she's Portia's like backup or something? I don't know. I mean, I know she's an artist. I know artists like Erica Badu said they sensitive about their ish, but let it go at this point. I don't know. It's weird to me, but whatever. So anyway, they arrive at the hotel, and the first thing that all the ladies do on these girls trips is talk about the room assignments, right? So since Kelli and Shamea are hosting, of course they met in their villa or whatever. That's really nice. And they give out the room assignments, right? So Brit and Phaedra are rooming together, and then we have Angela and Porsha, and then Cynthia and Drew. Those are the room assignments, right? So Cynthia and Drew get a room that has a king size bed suite, and then there's a suite that has the 2 twin beds. Once again, Drew in these twin beds, it's obvious that she's like the outcast of the group because they keep putting her in these rooms with the twin size beds. And I mean, when you on a vacation or whatnot, I mean, I know I'd be glad to just get there, but I also don't want to sleep on no twin size bed. Like, come on, I want to be able to stretch out, even though like she's by herself, it's just her that's going to be in that room and in that bed. I want to stretch out. Like, I don't want to feel like like I'm stuffed into a bed. So Cynthia suggests that they arm wrestle for the larger room. Child, Drew was fighting for her life in that arm wrestle. Honey, she beat Cynthia effortlessly. And Cynthia was like, oh my God. So, all right. They get to their rooms, and, the rooms are nice and whatnot. And Drew was like, well, I don't feel right putting Cynthia in like the twin size bedroom. So I will take that room, which was, cool of her to do because Cynthia, is the elder on the trip. A few years back when the ladies had gone on a trip, Nene and Cynthia were saying that they are, the more mature of the group and that they should get the better rooms or whatever. But at that time, Child Candy didn't want to study. They was like, y'all can be the elders and y'all can still be in whatever room y'all gonna be in. Okay? So it was nice of Drew. It was cool of Drew to be like, you know what? I'm gonna let Cynthia have this king size room. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, one for Drew. That's one moment where I actually was like, okay, Drew, I see you. I like you. Okay. Cause as y'all know, I be going in on Drew. I don't really, and not that I don't like Drew. It's just, I don't understand her, but that was a good moment right there. Like, that was cool of her to do. Cause me personally, I like to say I'd like to have done that. I just don't know. Moving on. So, Porsha with her little flirty self, she's sitting there flirting with the chef. Porsha just can't help herself. She's just a flirty girl. And I do believe that a lot of times when she flirts, it really don't mean nothing. Like Porsche just like attention. She likes for guys to kind of like be looking at her and gawking at her and stuff like that because that's what she's used to. And if they aren't already doing that, she's going to get their attention. So I think that's what that was about. She don't want that shit, you know. But the food he was putting down really did look good. Like I would love to try some of the food that they had because he was talking something about a plant that grows there and it has good flavor. Yeah, so I love like trying different foods and stuff as long as it's not too much. Like I'm not going to do anything too out the way. Like I'm not going to be eating bats and stuff like that. I can't. That's scary to me. But what he was cooking looked really really good. Okay. So, let's see. So the ladies for dinner, they get changed and everything like that. They are going to what looks like a wellness spa that also is a restaurant. They sit down and eat. Now we always see where the ladies kind of come unhinged when there's a table with food. I don't know what it is about the dinner table, but whatever issues are prevalent in the group, it always brings forth drama. And this scene is no different, really. So basically, Kelli is like wanting to get to the bottom of the issue with Drew and Porsha. And Drew finally apologizes and says, you know what? I could have let you know about Dennis and I working together. Even if it wasn't a phone call, I could have texted you or something. But she did have an issue with Porsha filming with Ralph. And that whole thing was not even what it seemed. Shamea said that Porsha didn't know that Ralph was going to be there. That was Shamea allowing Porsha to get her lick back on Drew because it's like, you know, my friend told you she didn't like the fact that she was filming with her ex-fiance slash baby father, and you just acted like it wasn't a problem. So let's see how you like it. You know, Porsha didn't have nothing to do with that. So you know, at this point, like Cynthia said, y'all are even. Let it go. So hopefully we can see that they move past this little petty beef or whatnot. You know, Porsha was like, you know, I didn't know what the status of their relationship was because it's like, you know, are y'all trying to get together? He's telling me this, you telling me that. So I don't know what to think, you know, which is valid. I mean, but see, I don't know why Dennis would lie. I don't know. Like, is he just trying to make Porsha jealous? I don't know, child. But anyway, moving on. And then when it comes to Porsha calling out this guy named Black that Drew is dating, she said Dennis the one told her that. So if Drew don't understand that Dennis gonna tell Porsha everything, then at this point she just slow because obviously whatever Porsha is coming at Drew with is coming directly from Dennis. And at this point, it's like, do they all three need to sit down and talk? Because we're not getting anywhere. At this point, like I said, I think they should just let it go, let it be. And whatever is happening is just happening. Okay, so, you know, in the heat of that moment of people talking about women in the group filming with exes, Brit decides to say, well, Phaedra, I just want to let you know that the event that I had, the bare naked event, your ex-husband Apollo was there. He was invited by my husband, not me. So I just want to put it out there that Apollo was at my event. I did not invite Apollo. My husband knows your ex-husband. And Phaedra was like, girl, I don't care. Like, why y'all even bringing up Apollo? Like, who cares? I get where Brit was coming from. She was just trying to make sure that nobody would assume that she was trying to be messy in having Apollo there, which I didn't even see Apollo. Like, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that scene because I didn't even see Apollo. He might not have been there during filming, maybe. I don't know. But she made sure Phaedra was aware. And being that she doesn't know Phaedra, really, and this is their first time really hanging out, I can see where she was coming from. But yeah, Phaedra was like, okay, like whatever. But my thing is with Phaedra, even if she did have a problem with it, she gonna act like she don't. And then if she is really mad, we're gonna hear about it later. So we'll just see how that goes. But yeah, so coming up, that's the end of the episode basically. They still at the dinner table, whatever. Coming up, the ladies are at the hot springs, they having fun and, getting the waterfall just raining down on them. It looks really exciting. And of course, the men of Grenada are flocking to these ladies because they're beautiful. They having fun. They having a fun energy about them. And, you know, it's just a good time thus far. I do want to bring up something that really did bother me. Um, Angela was saying that it's her and Charles's eighth wedding anniversary, and she's in Grenada. So I'm like, okay, like this. I know that you have a show to do or whatever, but if it were me, I would have come after my anniversary, or I would have done something to celebrate my anniversary before I'm going, to the Caribbean with a group of ladies who she don't really seem to care for that much. Um, what's really sad to me is that I saw where she was talking to Charles and she was like, "Yeah, it's our anniversary," and he could care less. It's like I feel bad for her because you can see that this is a woman that is really trying to hold on to her marriage and her husband, and she the only one doing the lifting. She was saying that he couldn't talk to her because he was cooking for their child. I mean, like, the excuses is what really hurt my feelings for her because you know um, when you are the one trying to hold your relationship together, it's quite obvious. And I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, being with somebody for X amount of years isn't good enough if you aren't getting the treatment that you deserve. And that's how I feel about Angela. Like, it's her marriage. She gonna do what she wanna do, of course. But all I'm saying is that with the dedication and love and stuff that she seems to give Charles, she deserves that back. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think about the episode. Tell me what your thoughts are on every situation in here. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good things. I appreciate every last one of you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.